Hey, what's up, people? This is Snooze. I would like to do a Frost Mage guide. This is one of my first guide. I did this guide in German, and the reason I did this guide is I thought um, I watched a few Frost Mage guides, especially in German, and they are not that kind of good and like in deep going stuff from mages, and they are forget about a lot of things as well. So I thought I just want to make one by my own, and maybe I can help some guys of you with your frost mage. And yeah, I'm not gonna say that I'm the best frost mage or just anything like that. Absolutely not. I just think and like my damage numbers are quite good, quite okay for progression rating and rating around and Mythic Plus and stuff like that. And I really enjoy playing Mage, so that's why I decided to do this guide. And I also have a lot of experience in rating, especially progression rating. Played for a lot of very good guilds, top world guilds as well. And yeah, that's why I thought I'd do this guide. So you guys don't think I've not a clue, and I want to excuse myself for my English. It's not my mother language, but I will do my best to keep everything uh, deep packed that you understand what I'm gonna say. So first of all, we go now to the uh, what's it called, the Eternal Blossom. That we are free there, not a lot of people, and then we start to talk about Mage, and I will like start around the basics. So we will go through first. We go through some stats, then we go through talents. We will talk about rotation and about secret stuff that maybe not everyone is knowing about, a bit of key bindings, and of course the rotation on in like a fight situation, of course, and maybe just a little bit of artifact talents as well. So let's start with like my gear. Like I wear it like this. I raid like this on bosses where I play my Glacial Spike build with the legendary helm and the legendary Bloodlust ring, and I almost got the 927 item level. And so, stats. So we got crit, haste, versatility, and mastery. This is our secondary stats, and of course our main stat is intellect. Um, Crit strike is important to us to a certain amount of level. So I got 33.09% of crit. So the thing is, we got like a shatter cap. Now the shatter cap you will find in the spell book as well, and it's important that we reach like 33.3% of crit. I'm not quite there yet, but it's fine for me. It's almost there. So it's just a little amount of numbers that I'm missing, and I can do that with a enchantment or like a stone or like of course buff food. But it's fine for me like that. It worked really well because I don't want to lose more haste or something like that, or versatility. So that's why I play with 33.09 at the moment. Hope to get a ring with a bit more crit, or maybe another item with more crit, or like my one of the Biz neck pieces from Toss. So the thing is, when we reach those 33.3% of crit, it's not important to us to go over this because it's not gonna um, help us with our damage to do more damage when we go further. So the point is to reach 33.3% crit, and that's fine. Then we reach the shatter cap. When we reach that, we focus on different stats. So it depends on which build you will play. Now it's the Thermal Void build and the Glacial Spike build. I will show that in a minute by the talents. And the thing is, when we want to talk overall about stats, I will go for sure haste between 15 and 20% when you play with Glacial Spike. More is good as well. Now, when you play with Thermal Void, above 20 is always good, as much as you basically can. Versatility is good for us as well, especially when you play with glacial spikes. So I will watch to reach there about 8 to 12% um, versatility. Some guys say even 15%, but it's very hard for like a cloth wearer to reach like 15% versatility. And I have already a versatility trinket, but I will do a new one in soon as I get the shard trinket from Toss. So yeah, that's about versatility. We benefit, of course, from that. So keep that in mind. It's a good stat for us. It's not bad. Mastery is with the Glacial Spike build very good. With the Thermal Void build, you don't want to have as much as Mastery like you play in the Glacial Spike build, so keep that in mind. So basically, the stats is for Thermal Void like crit, the Shadow Capped in haste, whereas that's that what we want to go through when we play with Glacial Spike. We want to focus a bit on all our stats and go as much as we can with the stats, but not over 33.3% crit. So that's about the stats and the talents now. That's where they get interesting. The talents are basically you can play around a bit with talents, but you're gonna play most of it with a build like this. Now that's my like main build if I play raid bosses, which are coming at, or I play Mythic Plus. The thing is, in the 15 talent, we got that Lonely Winter talent, which is our best talent to choose there. We are not playing with water elementals, so it's just us. And our abilities like Frostbolt, Ice Lance, Flurry, and Frozen Orb are increased damage by 28%. When we play with Bone Chilling, we will have our Water Elemental as same as with Ray of Frost, but I don't recommend Ray of Frost. That was in the beginning of Legion, quite interesting when the Frost Mage get buffed. When you had a lot of haste, you can really do amazing damage with Ray of Frost. But it was not quite easy to play, and yeah, but definitely not recommend Ray of Frost. Bone Chilling can be good for questing and leveling and stuff like that, but when you go into raids or Mythic Plus, you will definitely go Lonely Winter. Then in a 30 talent, we got Shimmer, Ice Flows, and Glacial Insulation. So you definitely want to choose Shimmer because you got two blinks, and we as Frost Mages we can finish our we can when we start casting and we blink, we can finish our cast after the blink. So that's pretty good. So we don't really need ice flows. It can be interesting in boss fights where you really have to move a lot and stuff like that to have these three charges of ice flows. But in basically, I recommend for sure Shimmer and Glacial Insolution. I don't recommend as well. So Shimmer is definitely the way to go. Then 45 talent, we got like Mirror Images, Rune of Power, Incantus Flow. Definitely the way to go is Incantus Flow. This is a buff in ourselves, which is going from 4% to 20%, like up and down all the seconds, and is increasing our damage on the top by 20%, at the lowest by 4%. So we got all the time basically like a damage increase. Rune of Power is for Frost Mages is not a good choice because we cannot really time when the procs are coming. We can time them, of course, when we hit a Frozen Orb. We for sure get a proc when we use Bolt, but basically it's a waste of this talent when you play Frost Mage to play with Rune of Power. So I don't recommend that. The Rune of Power is doing, you have like two charges, you put the Rune of Power on the ground and your damage spells are increased by 40 seconds, but you have to stand a round of 8 yards of this Rune of Power on the ground. Then we got Mirror Images. Mirror Images are when you're like doing Mythic 0 or low Mythic Plus and you really want to just burst that boss out and you don't really have to play for a long time at this boss or something like that. Mirror Images can be a good burst CD, but yeah, that's up to you. But definitely Encounters Flow is the way to go for raiding and Mythic Plus. Then in the 60 talent we got Ice Nova, Frozen Touch, and Splitting Ice. Splitting Ice is for us always interesting because it increase our ice lances and icicles damage by 5%. And our it splits our Icelands to a second nearby enemy by 80% of their damage. So it's really nice. Our best cleave talent. It's our only cleave talent to be honest, and it's really hitting good. And probably when you play a pure single target boss, you can go on Frozen Touch when you play with Thermal Void. But I find myself those 40% more charges. It's hard to tell if this is really a big increase on the on like the procs. So yeah, you can change about these two. In pure single target, you can go Frozen Touch for sure. But as soon as coming ads or a second like a bigger ad with more life, definitely go for Splitting Ice. Then the 75 talent Frigid Winds, Ring of Frost, Nice Ward. I choose Frigid Winds. This is like personal what you choose there. Frigid Winds is definitely cool because your chill effects reduce the target's movement speed by 15%, which is quite nice. The 90 talent, you got like Frost Bomb, Unstable Magic, and Arctic Gale. So this is a talent tier where you definitely can play with. Arctic Gale is like when you know you're never gonna cast a Blizzard in this fight, like really never, then you can choose Unstable Magic. No, like pure single target bosses. Then Unstable Magic is doing has a 20% chance that your Frostbolt makes like an explosion and dealing 50% of additional damage and hits some targets near of your Frostbolt impact. I think it's about 8 yards. Yeah, it's written there, 8 yards. So this is Unstable Magic. So for pure single target bosses, I will definitely choose Unstable Magic. And for and when you cast blizzards, of course Arctic Gale, because that makes our blizzard damage increase by 30% and the area of the effect is 20% larger. Then the 100 talent, this is where we have our two builds. We got Thermal Void and Glacial Spike. So Thermal Void is where our icy veins get extended by an additional 10 seconds, and our ice lances against our frozen targets is extended our icy veins by 1 second for empowered ice lance or an ice lance after a flurry proc. So that talent was really the way to go before the patch because it was 2 seconds um, where you can extend your icy veins, and that's why before the patch, like in Nighthold, you can really play bosses, and you have basically icy veins up all the time. And that was really cool. But Blizzard nerfed it to 1 second, so it's still pretty good. It's a really viable talent, of course. These two are not so far between, but I have more fun at the moment with Glacial Spikes, and it's fun to play for me. I like it, really enjoy it a bit. The switch from Thermal Void to Glacial Spike, and it depends with gear as well what you do, but I will calm down in a minute for this. So Glacial Spike, what does Glacial Spike? Glacial Spike is like our icicles when we go here to dummy is when we cast. Now we get those icicles above our head, like this one here. And this does that when we play with Glacial Spike, we keep those icicles and we don't fire them up when we cast Ice Lance. You see, my icicles are not going. When I play with Thermal Void and I cast an Ice Lance, my icicles go on the target and do an additional amount of damage. So the thing is with Glacial Spike, we play a lot with Frostbolt because every Frostbolt gives us a Glacial Spike. So we do 5 Frostbolts, we have 5 Glacial Spikes, and with glacial icicles and with Glacial Spike, we form those icicles to one big icicle, like the Glacial Spike. And the thing is, why I said Mastery Glacial Spike is because our Mastery do is that the power of the Frostbolt is stored in the icicles for 1 minute, and that's why we benefit from Mastery when we fired up our Glacial Spike. So that looks like this when I cast now the 5 Frostbolt. There we got a proc as well. So 5 Frostbolt, you see I got my weak aura there. and here when I have exactly like my 5 things and weak are there, so then I cast like my Glacial Spike and it's getting 1 and it hits. And you see I play with the splitting ice, that's why it hits 2 targets. So it's really very cool for Cleave Fight, really very strong. Yeah, that's about it about the talents. Then we want to go quick through some legendaries that you guys know what is this about. So legendaries. We got the new hat from the new patch and the new ring from the new patch. So I will start with the Beast legendaries. The Beast legendaries for sure is the head, the wrists, Magdarindon's Spanish bracers, and the head shattered fragments of Syndragosa, and of course Shard of the Exodus, our Bloodlust ring. These three legendaries are for sure our Beast legendaries. They increased our damage a lot. They're really strong. And then we have the shoulders. It's ice time that makes that our frozen orb explodes in a frost nova and deals an amount of damage. The crafted legendaries, of course. Then we got the belt, which is doing that when we have a flurry, our next blizzard is increased damage by 35% and it can stacking up to 5 times. So when you just have the belt, like 2 legendaries and one of it is the belt, you will definitely use blizzard as well on single target because it's stacked up and it does damage. So it's worth it to play with that, and of course with the talent Arctic Gale. But these are not the best legendaries. They are can be good for AoE, but definitely they're not coming on our best legendaries. So then we go chest. A lot of will say the chest is not so good, but it's not quite true. The chest has a lot of good stats, a lot of intellect, and it gains us a shield every time we blink. So on altar time, like the Frost Mage Bible homepage, it's I think it's in the fourth rank in combination with I think the wrist or the ring. It's on the fourth place with this combination. So it's not too bad. This legendary, but of course it's not in these three best legendaries. It will not win against those three. Then we got the hands. The hands they were really strong before the patch when we played with Thermal Void, and the ice lens extended icy waves by 2 seconds because the hands doing every time you active icy waves you get frost ice lens proc like a fingers of frost proc every 10 seconds. So when you extend your icy waves for like when you have a fight like a 5 minute and you got your icy veins up all fight long, of course when it comes up again you press again and you extend that like 2 times. You push a cooldown, you extend it 2 times, then you get every 10 seconds like an additional charge, which is quite strong and to keep up icy veins as well. Then we got the feats. These are doing when we're standing still for 6 seconds. We can cast while moving for 4 seconds. Then, of course, the Bloodlust ring. So we have like 2 Bloodlusts per fight. So one for like the whole group and then one for our own. Or it depends when you pull Bloodlust. But for sure, even when you pull Bloodlust on 30% of the boss, you got one by your own afterwards. And when you are the guy who pulled Bloodlust, you have like um, drums that you can pull for yourself to have a second Bloodlust. Then we got Zephyr Secret, which gives you like a little Bloodlust, increases your haste for 25% for 10 seconds, and this can triggered by any like interrupts or slow effects and stuff like that. You can trigger this ring. So yeah, it's not too bad when you can kick a lot and slow a lot and stuff like that. It's definitely okay. Then we have the new ring, the Soul of the Archmage. This is for Arcane, like the best in slot. For Frost Mage, is it not? Because this ring is doing that special talent. You have like in this tier, you have like 2 talents. in Frost Mages is like this. We get Frozen Touch and we can choose Splitting Ice. So we play like with two talents in one tier. It sounds strong, but it isn't, because Frozen Touch, this additional 40% of Fingers of Frosts, well, yeah, it's definitely not the strongest legendary. Then last but not least, we got Kil'jaeden's Burning Wish. Um, this is not a bad legendary. It has a lot of stats, a lot of int, and a use effect. Of course, it's good for AOE, and but all around it's not a bad legendary. But like I said, our three best legendaries is the head, the bracers, and the ring. So this is about legendaries. If you guys want, I can quick show you some loot that you want to go through, especially trinkets. You want for sure the trinket from Sisters of the Moon, the Trenish Sentinel Medallion. This trinket you want for sure. It is very strong. It casts like a little owl next to you, which makes a lot of damage, and when you damage, it makes even more damage. So this is one of our best in slot trinket. The ring from Sisters of the Moons are also very, very good. And the next trinket you want to go is from Mistress Asine. It's the Terror from Below. The shark trinket I call is very, very strong as well. So these two trinkets are our best trinkets, and you definitely want to go for them. But to be honest, all the trinkets from TOS are not too bad. Well, let's say the haste trinket from Hajatan is not so strong, but it has a lot of int, of course. But those two trinkets from Sisters and Misters, you definitely want to go for them. These are very, very strong. And yeah, that's about it. And it's not worth it to go through everything. And yeah, I just want to show you the trinkets. These are very good. Then set pieces. Set pieces, we got the new T20 set. The first set piece is when you cast. Oh, and it shows me the fire thing. I will go to mine and use prepot. Well done. When I go to my sets, is like when you cast a frozen orb, it increases your critical strike damage by 20% for 10 seconds. So it means all when you have procs. So you have like two Iceland's procs, a flurry proc, and the glacial spike. Let's say like that really perfect thing. And you see your frozen orb is coming up in like 5 to 3 seconds. So keep those procs, cast the frozen orb, and then you have those 10 seconds of 20% increased critical strike, and then pop out all your procs. This is gonna increase your damage really a lot. This is really a strong set bonus, so keep that in mind to watch a bit your procs and when the frozen orb is coming up again. What it makes also very strong is the force bonus. Unfortunately, I haven't got it yet. Is doing that the cooldown of Frozen Orb all time reduces when we have a Brain Freeze proc. So all the time we got the Flurry proc, we reduce it by 5 seconds. So this is what makes it really strong, and this is where we can combine an alt tier bonus set, the T90 from Nighthold, with the new set. So when you play like Thermal Void and you got two pieces in a high gear score, or even like normal gear score, you can combine this with the new 4 set bonus and with the new 2 set bonus. But then you cannot play with the head, of course, so you take the braces and the ring. The thing about it is with the all 2 set bonus, I haven't got it one here, they are in my bank, is that when you have a chance for 5% to gain additional brain freeze. And of course, all the time you have a brain freeze, we reduce our cooldown of frozen orb by 5 seconds. This is what makes those combinations really, really strong. And then of course we have a lot of procs because we have a lot of frozen orbs. We have the 10-second increase 20% critical damage, and then the bracers. The bracers are doing that all the time we cast an Iceland's. It makes our Iceland's damage by 3% stronger for 8 seconds, and it's stacking up for 6 seconds. So when it's that stacking up on 6, it does a lot of damage more, and it really benefits then from the set bonuses because we have a lot of procs. So this is where it gets interesting, and we can play around with a bit and test it and look what works best for you. So this is where it gets really interesting. But if you like haven't got the forced bonus and stuff like that, I play with Glacial Spike and I play with the head. The head is really interesting. The head is doing all the time when I cast 15 Frost Walls or Flurries. I call down like a combat storm. I can show you this. So will looks like this. I got a little weak aura who shows me this. This is this here. So I see now I cast 3, 4, 5. Come on, come on. Yeah, we do the flurry as well to trigger it a bit faster. So you see the flurry counts as well, not just frost bolts. So we got 10, we're getting there, 11, 12, 13, and now the weak hour will gone. And now the comet storm is coming down. This is what makes the head. And because with Glacial Spike we cast a lot of frost bolts to get on our icicles, this triggers a lot and it's to decent amount of damage. So when you see here, it did just for, of course these are not high rate dummies, but you see it does decent amount of damage. So it's really one of our best legendaries. So yeah, that's about it. About the force bonus, about the bonus from Nighthold and legendaries and stuff like that. Now we will get in the interesting part, our abilities. So we got of course our Frostbolt, we got our Ice Lances, we got our Flurry, our Glacial Spike, Blizzard, Frozen Orb, Even Bolt, Icy Winds. This is the stuff we use in the raid, which we deal damage with. The thing is, there are a lot of little secrets where we can increase our damage much more. So in a lot of guides I saw that they forgot to tell after flurry proc to hit an Ice Lance. So I will show you this. If you have a flurry proc, you always cast the Ice Lance right after. And the thing is, I will explain you a different situation as well. So let's trigger quick brain freeze proc. So we have there brain freeze proc. Give me please an Ice Lance proc. There we have an Ice Lance proc. In this situation, what we do, we want to first dump our Ice Lance. Then we hit our flurry proc, and you see here we get a little quick short buff on the target. So this buff is doing, luckily I have a brain freeze, is when I cast brain freeze and the little buff is coming, that when I do this and hit the Ice Lance right after, the Ice Lance is hitting for the same amount of damage like it will be empowered by Fingers of Frost. So this is very important, that all the time you have a flurry proc to hit an Ice Lance right after. So if you don't do this, you miss all the time over a million Ice Lance damage if you don't do this like that. So always cast an Ice Lance after flurry proc. And when you got Ice Lance procs and a brain freeze proc, dump your Ice Lances first, that you benefit from those Ice Lance which is not empowered to hit like an Ice Lance which is empowered. And the another thing is with Glacial Spike is like the same. So we will cast here now and get in this high proc situation hopefully again. There's our brain freeze. Give me an Ice Lance please. Come on, RNGesus, where are you? Don't want to waste my frozen arm. Lazy. So I just want to wait. So like this. So we got like, we can cast a Glacial Spike, we can cast a Brain Freeze and an Ice Lance. So we dump the Ice Lance first, cast Brain Freeze, it will go maybe. Cast Flurry and Ice Lance straight after. So I will explain that now in a bit slower moment. So the thing is, when we got the Brain Freeze proc and our Glacial Spike proc, just a second to get another brain freeze proc that we have a bit of more of time. Ah, Jesus. You see I do this guide live, so I thought when I do some mistakes, I do mistakes. So we have not this like this. No? We have our brain freeze proc and our thing, our glacial spike. So we do the glacial spike first, hit right after flurry and ice lens. So that means that buff, which is doing flurry, increases the damage of our glacial spike and the ice lens, which is casting right after. So that means we benefit like from one proc 2 times. So when you see you have 5 icicles, you press your glacial spike button, and in the same time you form your glacial spike. Just hit the flurry button to make sure the flurry is going straight after away when you finish glacial spike, because the flurry is flying faster to the target than the glacial spike. That's why the flurry hits first, glacial spike hits like second, and after the flurry, Bright and Icelands, so they both hit in this short window of time. We get this buff on the target to benefit from the damage, and that's why I would recommend also to dump the Icelands procs first to benefit from the not empowered Icelands. I hope you understand what I mean a bit. So of course, in like a hectic situation and stuff like that, it's always could be possible you hit an Iceland proc, or like it come an Iceland proc when you want to do this and stuff. That's not tragic, absolutely not. But when you can avoid it, dump the Iceland proc first, then flurry proc with Icelands. When you got 5 icicles and the brain freeze proc, cast glacial spike straight away, brain freeze, and straight away Icelands. That's where you benefit the most. So, what I do in my opening rotation, in my opening rotation is when it's come to to a pull timer. Let's just do a pull DBM pull 10. So that's the pull timer for the boss. I will just now show. I will do it live afterwards. So by 5 or 4, I take my pre-pot. Then I precast Eambolt and straight, I pull my icy veins, get my proc out, pull my frozen orb, dump the procs, and start my normal rotation. That is what I do in the opener. And I getting bursts, it depends how much procs, from like 2.3 million up to even 4 million. Depends really on procs. And yeah, that's how my opening rotation is. So we will do now this in a live fight quickly because we were like at the end on the video. So sorry, DBM pull 10. I don't got my raid interface here to do that pull timer like that. So here is coming the pull timer. So I'm getting nervous. Boss fight starting. So I pull pre-pot, pre-cast Eambolt, get icy veins, dump the procs, and then I start casting like my normal frostbolt rotation. And what all frost mages do, we hope for procs. So the RNGesus style is we hope for procs. So you see I come on 2.6, so now my burst basically is over, and I do like my normal rotation, play the boss with movement and stuff like that. That's how it goes. And what I want to tell you as well is when you got like when you got like 3 icicles and you get a brain freeze proc, wait with the brain freeze proc till you got 5 icicles to dump your glacial spike and hit your proc right after like this, so you benefit more. When you have 2 or 1 icicles and you get a brain freeze proc, dump the proc, no problem, because to wait can be a damage loss, so dump it. Even with 3, you have to know by yourself if you want to dump it or not, and if you're lucky enough to get another one before you get 5 icicles, so that's up to you. But I will recommend when you are in the 4th frostball to get a 4th icicles, leave the brain freeze proc, use it with the glacial spike. You will benefit much more from this than if you don't. So yeah, that's about it. If you wish some more videos of me, put down in the comments. Would lovely to do this. If not, just benefit from my guide if you want. And thanks for watching. guys, and I hope you will enjoy playing a Frost Mage. And yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you want more and stuff like that. It's all up to you. I thank a lot for watching. Thanks very much. Wish you a good day, a good night. See you soon, boys.